Welcome to the Huntington Northern. I'm Bob Prehoda, Director of Operations of the Huntington Northern, and this is a freelanced model railroad depicting southwestern Pennsylvania. We model between Pittsburgh and Cumberland, Maryland. On the dispatcher's panel, we have the area of Pittsburgh, which is in staging, and it goes through a number of fictitious towns along the main line and arriving in Cumberland. It's a single track main line, approximately 300 feet long, so I was able to twist the length of a football field inside of my basement. The railroad's kind of a medium-sized model railroad. It's 24 by 26 feet. We use train order operation on this railroad. In other words, we have a telephone system set up that we can communicate with the operator and yard masters, and they can contact the dispatcher. I'm sitting in the dispatcher's chair, and we have an authentic scissors telephone that came from, we believe, one of the Pennsylvania Railroad towers. But in any case, we issue Form 19 train orders to control the movement of trains, and we hand the orders up to the crews, where they actually read the order and carry them out, because it's single track main line, and the order tells them whether they meet or pass another train at certain locations. Now, this is the telephone system. You've already seen the scissors telephone, but this is the console, and I can push the button and call different stations on the main line, and there's a telephone out there where the yard master can pick it up, or the tower operator. And we have magnetic markers for each of the trains, and as they are reported through different locations on the railroad, the dispatcher has a visual look or a visual clue as to where things are on the railroad. Kind of helps him dispatch the railroad. The dispatcher acts something similar to a traffic policeman, where he directs the movement of the trains, like a traffic policeman would direct the movement of automobiles at an intersection that doesn't have traffic lights. This is the yard we call Huntington. It's a fictitious town in southwestern Pennsylvania, but it has a working classification yard. There is an icing facility. We have an interchange with the Pittsburgh and West Virginia Railroad in the back portion of the yard. And there's a small engine facility with a small turntable to turn single locomotives. You'll notice a train order signal. It's got a single mast with two heads, one facing east and one facing west. This is an east-west railroad. And when crews come into a town, they look at the signal and see whether it's green, that they can proceed past it, or if it's red, in which case they have to stop and pick up another order. A lot of coal is going to be brought down to this area, and this coal is delivered to other other railroads that are represented on the system. Some of the coal is going to the Western Maryland, where we have an interchange up Chestnut Ridge. Some of the coal is going to the B&O Railroad, which is an interchange over at the other yard on the railroad called Spruce Creek. Our last position on the railroad to function with train orders is the assistant operator. The assistant operator is, when he is relieved from the operator's position, he comes out here to the model portion of the railroad, and his job is to report trains at 3 intermediate towns on the railroad. This is the town of Chestnut Ridge. It's up on top of it's actually the highest town on the railroad, and we have a train order signal at this town to stop trains going east and west. We have a switcher that's stationed up here in a number of industries. This is probably the most busy on the model portion of the railroad. We have an interchange with the Western Maryland, and we have a Western Maryland coal train, which is at yard limits ready to come in and he's going to exchange empty hoppers for loaded hoppers that the Huntington Northern is going to be delivering. It's on the way and has not arrived as yet. But we have a small classification yard that classification can take place. Now the railroad is controlled, the throttles are North Coast NCE radio throttles, so they're handheld and crews can control the locomotives just by walking around following their train, since this is a walk around type of model railroad. We use car cards for each car on the railroad, and they give destinations as to where the next destination for that car happens to be. So there's about 330 cars on the railroad and about 50 locomotives. And many of the locomotives have sound, as I'll represent. This is the town called Spruce Creek. It is on the eastern end of the railroad. It's the yard closest to Cumberland, Maryland, where the trains go in underneath that covered bridge, and they'll wind their way down to Cumberland, Maryland. But it's a small classification yard. We have the interchange with the B&O Railroad, which is over near the backdrop. We have a small engine facility, and unlike Huntington, which is closest to Pittsburgh on the opposite end of the railroad, we have a turning Y, so all engines can be turned on this Y in order to go back. We run this as an east-west railroad, and it is a point-to-point. This area is a staging area of the Huntington Northern Railroad. This part represents Pittsburgh, so all trains leaving Pittsburgh go through the modeled portion of the railroad, and they'll arrive at Cumberland. And same with the trains at Cumberland, they'll go through the opposite direction and travel approximately 300 feet before arriving at Pittsburgh. So this is the off-stage part of the railroad. No attempt has been made to scenic or make it look beautiful because it's in a fruit cellar, and we usually close the door. When trains leave the unscenic part, it's like a stage play where the actors are off stage, and when they come onto the modeled portion of the railroad, they're on stage, and that's where they perform their work.
On the floors of Tokyo, down in London town to go. With the record selection and the mirror's reflection, I'm dancing with myself. When there's no one else inside, in the crowd and lonely night. Well, I wait so long for my love vibration, and I'm dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. When there's nothing to lose and there's nothing to prove, but I'm dancing with myself. Every type of girl, but you're empty, I seem to pass me by. Leave me dancing on with myself. So let's sink another drink, cause it'll give me time to think. If I had a chance, I'd ask a woman to dance, and I'll be dancing on with myself. Dancing on with myself. Dancing on with myself. Well, there's nothing to lose, and there's nothing to prove, and I'm dancing on with myself. Another drink, cause 'cause it'll give me time to think. If I had the chance, I'd ask a woman to dance, and I'll be dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. If I had the chance, I'd ask a woman to dance. If I had the chance, I'd ask a woman to dance. If I had the chance, I'd ask a woman to dance. Another drink, 'cause it'll give me time to think. If I had the chance, I'd ask a woman to dance, and I'll be dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. If I had the chance, I'd ask a woman to dance. If I had the chance, I'd ask a woman to dance. If I had the chance, I'd ask a woman to dance.
Okay, operator, dispatcher, I need one copy of train order number 35, please.
Copy 135.
Date 4/12/62 to C&E of engine 2275 at Pittsburgh. Period. Engine 2275. Run extra. Pittsburgh to Cumberland. Dispatcher RJP. Read back when you're ready.
Read back. Train order number 35, date 4/12/1962. C&E of engine 2275 at Pittsburgh. Engine 2275, run extra, Pittsburgh to Cumberland, RJP.
Show order number 35 complete to engine 2275 at 12:35 a.m.
Number 35 made complete. 12:35 a.m. Operator John.
All right, I need an eastbound red board at Falls Junction, please. Board at Falls Junction, please.
Eastbound red at Falls Junction.